The Untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is the latest edition of our 90 Days of Boxing live series. Today is day number 23. We're now into the third week of the 90 Days Unboxing series. It's been quite a challenge. It's been, a hell of a journey, and I'm really enjoying it. So, yeah, man. And today's live is a rather special one, right? Because the last time I was live, it was the eve of my 29th birthday. Well, today, guys, look, I'm going to take some time to spend an hour, maybe who knows how long. I'm going to spend some time with you guys for my birthday today because, the viewers of True School Sports are a big part of my life. I wouldn't be where I'm at today without you guys who support the boxing content out here. So, I'm gonna spend some time with some of the people that matter. The people that support my content and talk boxing with you guys for a little bit. So I'm gonna be here. If you got any questions, you got any thoughts, any concerns about the sport, definitely leave them down below. And we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Make sure you smash that like button if you're watching it live right now. If you're watching the playback, smash that like button. If you wanna, say happy birthday to your boy BT. You could drop a super chat as well. That wouldn't hurt as well. That's probably the best way because all the super chats are gonna go to these trips to Vegas and all these great things we got going on here in boxing. With being here in Vegas tomorrow, I'm going out for some sparring with my boy Eric Lantis Jr. We got sparring tomorrow, so looking forward to getting him sharp for what's next in his career and getting you guys some more content while I'm doing that. Going to the gyms, crossing paths with fighters. So yeah, it's gonna be this week's gonna be a very fun week for me. Honestly, but 29 years young today. So blessed to really grateful for this birthday today. Because a lot of people that I knew in the last, year or so, they passed away. So I think at this stage of my life, I'm appreciating life a lot more than I have on other birthdays. So, good to be here with you guys. But let's take some time to acknowledge some of the comments. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Let me know like where you're watching from. What city, what state, what continent, what country. I'm in Las Vegas, but shout out to Jesus Semi says saludos BT. Philip Hergovich is ducking Daniel Dubois. I don't know if you can say that yet because Hergovich hasn't made a decision on what he's going to do with his career next. You can't really say he's ducking anybody, let alone a Dubois. But, I will say that I think he should fight Dubois next because a lot of these guys don't really want to fight him. So I can't be unfair. I can't say that this guy's ducking him and that guy's ducking him. And then when somebody calls him out, I want to shun that fighter. No. Dubois is highly ranked. He's been in a good amount of big heavyweight fights in his career so far against the likes of Usyk and Joyce and I guess if you consider Drumiller a big fight as well. He's been in some notable fights, so I think that'd be a good fight for Hergovich. Hergovich and Dubois have some history because Dubois sparred Hergovich back in some years ago out there in London at the Peacock Gym, and Hergovich has told me about how he beat the brakes off of him in sparring. So be a good fight. Jesus also says that Philip must stay active and with no waiting around. I agree with that. I 100% agree. I know he wants that title shot, but there's some things that he can't really control that are preventing him from getting that right now. So I think in the meantime, he's got to stay as sharp as attack and fight good competition. Good guys that are coming to win. Hand History Vol says, good evening, BT. Happy birthday. Thank you, Hand History. Good to see you, Champ. How all as well. Shout out to you out there in Missouri. Were you going for the Chiefs? I was just watching that Super Bowl. I was watching the Super Bowl. I was watching, I'm not a big NFL guy, but I did get a chance to watch like the last 2 quarters and the overtime of football of the Super Bowl. And, shout out to the Chiefs. They're the champs again, back to back. Patrick Mahomes proving his greatness to the world again. Shout out to him. I was going for the Niners. I wanted Christian McCaffrey to win the Super Bowl, but, Patrick Mahomes is special. Lloyd wants to know, why does Inoue's comment got the whole USA boxing community hot? Because they are disrespectful comments. I'm sorry. I know Inoue may not mean it, but he basically took a whole that's like if an American fighter said about a Japanese fighter, oh yeah, they don't fight hard enough. Like if it was the same comment but it was made about Japanese people, I'm sure the Japanese would be hot about it, right? The USA is a big country with a lot of different types of fighters and a lot of different types of styles. So for Inoue to kind of like generalize the whole country and how the fighters fight, based off him just fighting Stephen Fulton, that's it's kind of corny. So my thing is with Inoue, right? I like him. I'm a big fan, but like, if you make those comments, all right, when you go up to 26, you better fight the Americans that are up there. The guys like Bruce Carrington, the guys like Angelo Leo. Let's put that theory to the test, because you can't talk like that and just do whatever you want, and just because you fought one or two American fighters, you got to fight more American fighters. And I'm not a hater. I'm not trying to sound like people that hate Inoue, but that's just the truth. Like, once you make comments like that, I don't care. If he was talking about Mexicans, I would have that same energy. If he was talking about the Philippines, I had that same kind of energy. You know. Jesus M says, shame on Canelo versus Munguia. It's not what boxing needs. I mean, I'm not really too bothered about Canelo versus Munguia. I was reading that apparently because they said Canelo had a big announcement coming up soon. I heard that the announcement's not even that big of a deal. Apparently, he's just going to be on signing a contract in Mexico, a TV contract in Mexico with Box Azteca. That's what I heard the big news was. Agreed. We got to see him at 126. Do you think the Chiefs are going to run the table next year? I don't know, man. I mean, I'm a cat. I don't know shit about football these days. I used to be a big NFL guy like 10 years ago, but I know they got Patrick Mahomes. I know they got Travis Kelce, and I know that they've won back to back. So if they did it twice, why not 3 times? Why not thrice? Why not a three-peat? My favorite teams in the NFL are the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins, and I don't think either one of them are a threat to the Chiefs. So we'll see how it goes. Munguia looking for a payday because he loses versus the top guys. Of course. We know how Xanafer Promotions is moving him. They're waiting for that Canelo fight. This has always been part of the plan from years ago when he won his first title against Saddam Ali. But Munguia is at least exciting. So if the fight happens, I'm sure it'll be a cool fight. Two Mexicans fighting each other. But I gotta say though, if Canelo fights him, then that means Canelo was full of it. Canelo's he's full of crap, because he was saying that he wouldn't fight Benavidez because he doesn't fight Mexicans. But what is Munguia? A Mexican, so he better not do that. Otherwise, he's gonna be under a lot of scrutiny, not just from me, but anybody who talks sense about boxing. The Casanova pugilist says the 49ers were robbed by the judges. SMH. I don't think so. Watching the game, I thought the 49ers robbed themselves. Patrick Mahomes played like trash in the first half of the game, and then they had a chance to really go ahead and extend their lead, and they didn't do it. And then when they actually took the lead, they had that extra point that got blocked. So that proved to be very big in the game, because then it allowed the Chiefs to tie the game, send it to overtime, and that's why they lost. So that's when you playing teams at that level, it's no different than boxing. When you have two fighters fighting at that world-class, top-shelf level, when you have that going on, the finest of margins make all the difference. So that's what happened. That's why they lost. Do you think Nicholas Walters can make a comeback? Well, he's fighting. They're saying March 27th. He's fighting. For those that don't know, the Axeman is back. Nicholas Walters is back. He had 2 little, quiet, stay busy fights in Colombia last year to kind of shake off the ring rust. Now they're saying that he's going to be fighting Joseph Adorno March 27th on Pro Box. So that's a really intriguing fight. So the weirdest, most intriguing crossroads fight I've ever heard of in boxing. I don't really know what to make of it, because I can't really go off of Nicholas Walters fighting in Colombia, because those Colombia fights, you hit those guys and they fall over. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just going to watch. I'm going to be like you guys. I'm going to watch. I'm going to wait and see. I don't know. Adorno is obviously a good fighter, a solid fighter. He hasn't been able to quite cut it against, the Michelle Rivera's and the Edwin De Los Santos and them kind of guys, but he's still a good, top 30 professional fighter. Why did Walters disappear after the Lomachenko fight? He did my boy. I don't know, man. Maybe it could be I would just be led to believe that it was depression. Maybe he was just depressed from boxing and for the way Lomachenko beat him up and embarrassed him in front of everyone. I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see. I'm probably, honestly, what do you guys think? I want to take a poll from you guys while I'm sitting here on the live. So that fight's in Pro Box in Florida. That's March 27th. Now, March 29th, I'm supposed to go to the Sinisa Estrada Yokovai fight in Arizona. March 30th is Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. I'm probably gonna go to both those fights. But what do you guys think? Would you guys like to see me out in Plant City to go to the Nicholas Walters fight against Adorno? What do you guys think? Walters versus Walters versus Adorno. Should I go cover it? Because I'm intrigued by it. I'm really intrigued to see the Axeman fight in person at this stage of his career against a guy like Adorno. So maybe I could go look. The 27th, Walters versus Adorno. The 29th, Sinisa versus Yokovai, along with Oscar Valdez and Liam Wilson. The 30th, Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman. And then April 6th is Richard Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos back here in Vegas. So what y'all think? And then I'm not sure yet, but even before I even go to that, I might go to Maxie Hughes versus Williams Pena, but I'm not so sure about the yet. So don't quote me on that one yet. But as far as that little stretch, I'm thinking that might be the play. You know, we go to Walters Adorno in Florida on the 27th. Then we go to Arizona for Oscar Valdez, Liam Wilson in conjunction with Sinisa Estrada and Yokovai. And then we come back to Vegas for Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman on March 30th. What do y'all think? By the way, shout out to all 16 of you here. If you haven't done so already, smash that like button so this live can get out to as many people in the boxing world and on YouTube as possible. Because, YouTube's always trying to get your boy beat. They're always trying to keep the True School Sports empire down. But with your guys' help, the True School Sports empire can go up, and y'all can help more people come celebrate my birthday with me. Because really and truthfully, this is one of the best parts of my day so far. I didn't really do a whole lot today. It was a good chill day. Maybe later on in the week I'll celebrate. But right now, just chilling with my boy Eric Lances Jr. here at the Airbnb. He's got sparring tomorrow. We're gonna be, taking him around gyms in Vegas, looking for all the best smoke. So if there's any fighters out there around 135, 140 that want some smoke with Eric Lances Jr., we'll pull up. We'll pull up for the sparring. It'll be great work too. Trying to sharpen him up for what he's got coming up in his career. So the real celebration is gonna be later on this week, and then I'm thinking I just applied for my press pass to the Jojo Diaz fight on, I think it's Thursday. So I'm more than likely gonna be in LA, but I'm not so I haven't got approved yet. But that's a fight that I want to go to just because we got a couple of the South Florida fighters on the undercard. Eric Tudor's back, trying to rebuild himself after the loss of Jose Luis Sanchez. You got his brother, Sasha Tudor, making his pro debut. And I've been covering Sasha since he was a jit, sparring at the Davy Powell. So, busy week here. Yeah, David, I watched it. Shout out to the Chiefs. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes. Walters even being back is huge news. You should cover it and get an interview. I really want to, man. He was never. I never had a chance to interview him when he was in his prime. I was a fan of the Axeman. I like the Axeman, and I'm happy he's back. And you know what? I'm rooting for him to win. I like him. I like freaking Nicholas Walters. So, I'm thinking that's the move. Go back. Like such an eventful March gonna be happening here on True School Sports. I'm so glad that I've reached this stage of covering boxing. I've always waited for this kind of year, so I'm happy. But if y'all got any questions, it could be boxing related, it could be non-boxing related. This ain't really a structured live. This is more like we're just chilling. It's Sunday. It's the day before the week starts. Tomorrow we'll have something a little more structured and focused on a specific topic. But y'all can ask me anything y'all want. It could be boxing related, non-boxing related, and I'm gonna answer it. We're gonna keep this 90 days of boxing going here on True School Sports. It's day 23. We still got a lot of days left. We got till April the 19th, I think. Thank you, David. I appreciate it. 29 years young today, and I appreciate everybody that gave me birthday wishes. I got a lot of comments today on the community post, so thank you guys for that. Point Fire says birthday stream outstanding. Yes, sir. I had to come and do it one time for the one time. I had to show my appreciation for the viewers of True School Sports and give you all a birthday stream. Last year on this day, you guys had I did a birthday stream last year when Oshaki Foster fought Ray Vargas and won the title. So, yeah. Walters was great in his prime. He became unknown after, he disappeared off the face of the earth. Like, I actually know a trainer that used to train him early in his career in Orlando Cuellar, and even he didn't know where he was. So that's how out of the way Walters was after the Lomachenko fight. I mentioned Sam Noakes again on your last live. I thought the guy he was fighting might have pulled the upset because a lot of Brits. I still got to go watch Sam Noakes, man. Sam's a guy. He's like your British Eduardo Sugar Nunez. I got to go watch Sam. There's a lot of boxing I have to catch up on because because I was so busy covering these fights, it's hard to keep up with other cards when you're so locked in and I'm posting content from a certain card. But I'm definitely gonna catch up soon. I'm definitely have something on Sam Noakes soon. I know you talked highly of him. I know for a fact. I've watched Sam fight at some point. I just can't remember who he fought or when he fought or even how he fought. David said, or the Casanova pugilist said, "Who had the Chiefs beat? They beat bums, paper champions. The Patriots are the real dynasty." I can't even lie, man. I hated like when I was really into football. I hated Tom Brady because my favorite teams my favorite teams are the Carolina Panthers and the Miami Dolphins. So the Dolphins were like a AFC East rival of the Patriots, and then the Panthers lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl in 2003. So I hated Tom Brady, but I gotta tell you, man, ever since he retired, his last couple years, I really started to really appreciate that man's greatness. And I know everyone likes Patrick Mahomes. I know they want to say, "Oh, Patrick Mahomes is this and Patrick Mahomes is that." He ain't Tom Brady. He still got he still got some work to do before we talk about him with Brady because he played Brady. Remember they played each other in the playoffs that one year and Tom Brady beat him. But shout out to Mahomes. He deserves his props as a great player. I almost said a great fighter. I almost said great fighter. I also got the Rockamoff date wrong. He says the Chiefs equals Boots Ennis, the Patriots equals Bud Crawford. You said it, not me. You said it best, brother. You said it best. I'm just glad that the Super Bowl is done and football season's done because what that means is we're 1 day closer to the Stanley Cup playoffs, to the Florida Panthers fulfilling their destiny and bringing the Stanley Cup home back to South Florida. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm a big hockey fan. I'm a big Panthers fan, and I think this year the Panthers are gonna finally do it. So that's why I'm glad about this. That's why I was gassed about the Super Bowl. Had nothing to do with the Super Bowl. It's just the fact that we're getting closer to the NHL playoffs, which start in April. So, Point Fire says, "Shout out to your pops. His announcing is epic. I thoroughly enjoyed it, sir." Yeah, my dad's the man. My dad, he's always here, bringing that energy. I don't know where he gets this damn energy because this guy got health problems. He had a heart attack and this, that, and the third. But he still pops. He's still 100% of himself. He's still that guy, And I'm glad you guys enjoyed the stream. As far as like upcoming live fight reactions, I mean, I know we got this upcoming week we got like Oshaki Foster versus Abraham Nova. That's Friday night. You also got Adrian Courier versus Seven Anthony Ochinga around the same time. There will be a live for that. I'll probably live for that with my boy Johnny here in Vegas. But then Pops, I know on the 24th there's going to be 2 lives because you got the Junta Nakatani fight in the morning. I'm not sure if me or Pop, I'm not sure if I'll be live for that or Pops be live for that, but one of us will be live for that fight in the morning, and then Pops is definitely going to do the nighttime stream for Edgar Berlanga against Patrick McCoy. So you guys getting 2 live fight reactions on the 24th, so stay tuned for that. Boots brings nothing to the table. Canelo is a legacy-defining fight Bud wants. Boots brings plenty to the table. Boots brings enough talent, skill, and athleticism to hand Crawford a severe beating, and that's why Terence Crawford don't want to fight him. But hey, if Crawford's a great fighter, he's earned the right to do what he wants. So if he wants to fight Canelo and Canelo will oblige him, then who am I to tell him he can't do that? Even though I think it's kind of corny that he don't want to fight Boots. Canelo is about to announce his opponent next Tuesday. Yeah. I don't know. I'm thinking it might be Crawford. I really think there is a chance it might actually be Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford's been here in Vegas sparring Lester Martinez. I literally saw Bomac and his whole entire team at the gym last week when he was getting ready to when they were getting ready to, for Keyshawn Davis's fight. I saw Lester Martinez, who Crawford's been sparring with. I ain't gotta like it though or give Crawford credit. He said Virgil Ortiz and Boots would beat Canelo. That's not that far fetched. That's really not that far fetched. I'd give them both a chance. I'm 70%. I'm 70% sure Canelo's fighting Jaime Munguia. More than likely. I mean, that's always been a fight that he and Zanford Promotions and the powers that be had in the back pocket. So it's not really anything too crazy, But yeah, make sure y'all smash that like button when we here. 90 Days of Boxing, the birthday edition. If y'all want to show some love, to your boy BT, I don't be out here begging for super chats, but it is my birthday, so if y'all want to drop a super chat, why not? Canelo isn't dealing with Oscar. It's not happening. It's going to be Bud. I really think, honestly, guys, I really think there's a big chance of Terrence Crawford that Canelo is fighting. Because Canelo Alvarez is, at this point, much like Terrence Crawford, he's all about the money. He's all about the biggest events. And Terrence Crawford has been here in Las Vegas for a little bit of time out here, sparring 168 pounders. He's here doing that. So, just saying, I think Terrence is already doing his pre-camp for Canelo. I literally seen and spoke to one of the guys he's been sparring with, which is Lester Martinez, the Guatemalan 168 pounder. I seen him the other day. Big fight though. I mean, if it happens, I know it's gonna get a lot of people's attention. It's gonna be. I'm sure PBC will promote it amazingly. And obviously, I'd give Terrence a chance to win. I'll be Team Bud that fight. I love Terrence Crawford. I would hope and pray to God that Terrence Crawford beat Canelo, because it would really make me sick if Terrence Crawford did all these great things in boxing, won all these titles just to go ahead and lose to freaking, Canelo. Why would Canelo risk giving Jaime, who is an Oscar fighter, any shine? It's a good point. They had a big problem. They have some problems. They got history. It ain't the best history, so why not? You're right. I think a fight against Crawford or even a fight against Charlo is more likely. Don't rule out Canelo fighting Jamal Charlo. That's a fight that, listen, I can already see it in my head. He gonna say, yeah, Charlo, he's a champion. He's gonna hit y'all with that. He's gonna say, yeah, y'all said I would have fighted him, but how about now? So we'll see how it goes. Abreu went up to 154 after Charles Conwell killed Patrick Day and gave him a tough fight. I ain't trying to hear bullshit about how Boots doesn't bring anything to the table. They're all gonna say that, Terrence, but it's funny. These guys all talk about how they want to make the best fights happen for the sport and all this stuff. And then they get to a certain point, and then they get due to other fighters what was done to them. So that's why you got to respect the guys like Bernard Hopkins, even though if he's a bit weird outside the ring. You got to respect Bernard Hopkins, because when he was in that position, he didn't big time Jermaine Taylor. He actually gave Jermaine Taylor multiple fights, and that's why he is who he is, and I respect him, because he didn't have to fight Jermaine Taylor. But people recognize that Jermaine Taylor was the best middleweight in the division besides Bernard, and he obliged him and fought him, and that's why he gets the respect, and that's why he's Bernard Hopkins, and that's why he's an all-time great, and that's why he's one of one. Because you look at a guy like Crawford, he's in that position now. He's in that same position now that B-Hop was in when a Taylor fight came around, or when it was a thing, and he won a big-time Boots. Bud is unbeatable. When hurt, Bud is going to go ultra instant. Canelo about to see a whole other level of boxing he's never seen since Floyd Mayweather. I don't believe in anybody being unbeatable. I think everybody, including Terrence, is beatable. But I give him a chance against Canelo. I give him a chance against Canelo, because we know Canelo, especially over the last couple of years, he's gotten this thing where he likes to fight in spurts. He's kind of fell in love with his power too much, so he likes to load up and throw big shots. And I just think that early in that fight, Terrence is going to just move around the ring, circle the ring, utilize the ring, let Canelo throw that dumb shit, let him get tired. And then the middle rounds, the 4th, 5th, 6th rounds, that's when you're going to see Bud really start to settle into the rhythm and start counter-punching Canelo. And really, that fight's no different than the Amir Khan fight, which is the fact that we know who the more skilled fighter is. The only question is, can Terrence Crawford take what Canelo is going to dish out to him? That's the only question. And if he can, he's beating him. That's how simple that fight is, What do y'all think? Abreu gave Mean Machine a run for his money before Boots destroyed Abreu. Yeah, that was a good win. That was a good little win for Boots. Abreu was a live body. Bud is only losing to guys truly bigger than him, like Benavidez, not no short reach, overblown middleweight like Canelo. I'm telling y'all right now, Canelo Alvarez lose to Terrence Crawford, it's going to be Canelo exposed again. We making shirts, Canelo exposed by Crawford, all that stuff, because, you're supposed to be fighting Benavidez, you're supposed to be giving the people what they want to see, but you want to fight welterweights. You want to do that, so, he's putting himself in that position with me, honestly. And really and truthfully, I don't hate Canelo like I used to. Like I actually did used to hate Canelo like some years ago, like 2021, even 2020. But like after he got got a boxing lesson from Bivol, it's kind of hard to hate Canelo because it's already been proven that he is what he is. He's not what they say he is. He's a good fighter. He's a fantastic fighter, but he's not the best Mexican fighter ever. But he's an accomplished fighter. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He's been good for the boxing business. He's been an active champion. So I just see him for what he is. I would have to see how Crawford looks at 168 if his reflexes and speed are still. That's my thing. It's like you're gonna go from 47 to 68. That's crazy. He's crazy. He is. He is. He is calling him out. And the thing is, he's calling him out, but he actually has the resume. He has the credentials. He has the standing in boxing to where Canelo would actually oblige him. It's a big of enough of an event for Canelo to actually listen and actually consider the possibility that, hey, maybe I should fight Terence Crawford. So it would be funny to see Canelo lose to Crawford, I think, too. But I just hope this shit backfires on Terence. And I'm to that point where it's like, man, I like Terence Crawford more than just about any fighter in boxing not named Roman Gonzalez. He's one of my favorite fighters in history. But the whole thing that's been going on with him since the Spence fight, how he wants the big time boots, and it's not even just him. It's like respect to his team. I love Bomac, great guy. Love Esau Daegas, great guy. They're all great people in Team Crawford. But I was face to face with Bomac. Bomac literally sidestepped my question and was gassed about basically ducking Jaron Ennis, saying we're not gonna fight him because he brings nothing to the table, and we already cleared the division, right? Which, I mean, he's got a point to a degree. Earl is more as era than Boots, but Boots, a lot of people, myself included, I was already looking at Boots as the second best welterweight in the world before this Spence Crawford fight was ever signed. I got the videos on here to prove it. I can pull the clips up of me literally saying back in the summer of 2022 that Jaron Ennis, F the belts, is the second best welterweight. Terence Crawford's the number one welterweight, and Spence is third. All right, I was saying that before they fought. So this isn't like a new perspective for me. This isn't anything different. What do y'all think? But yeah, apart from Crawford and Canelo, man, ask me some other questions besides Crawford and Canelo. I mean, I know there's plenty of other things going on in boxing. I'm telling you, Crawford is not getting credit for Canelo because the excuses will be Canelo looked old already. I already know this is coming. Listen, if Terence Crawford, look, I know Canelo, y'all know I don't like Canelo like that. But if Crawford moves up from 147 to 168 and puts a freaking beating on Canelo Alvarez, then man, what can you say? Who's done that? Who's going up 3 weight classes in one fight and doing things like that? You know what? That would put him in a different caliber, because that's the type of stuff you used to hear about in the old history books with Henry Armstrong and Sam Langford and these guys that would move up crazy weight classes. You don't really see that in this day and age. Why have you always thought low of Spence? I haven't always. You see, that's a misconception. I haven't always thought low of Spence. There was actually a point where I thought very highly of Spence. Errol Spence is an Olympian. Errol Spence was IBF champion for multiple years. Errol Spence beat Kell Brook, who was a very highly rated fighter. Errol Spence is a very good fighter. But Errol Spence was never, ever in the same class of fighter as Terence Crawford. And so it's not a matter of me thinking low of Errol Spence. It was more so... just the way he handled the whole Crawford situation, how he started being a diva and didn't want to fight him and started hiding behind politics and all these kind of things. That's where I started talking about Errol Spence the way I do now. He's a good fighter. He's not Terence Crawford. I don't think he's better than Jaron Ennis. And I thought that Errol Spence, he came around at the right time in boxing when PBC was overpaying fighters for very winnable fights, and they did a good job building him. I like Errol Spence. In fact, I liked Errol Spence so much at one point in time that I actually had Errol Spence as my channel intro. I had a channel intro from Errol Spence when I covered the fight. I asked him. There's a clip I have where he says, "Hi, this is Errol Spence Jr. watching True School Sports." He was actually my channel intro. So don't think that I always thought low of Spence or hated on him. I actually don't think low of Spence at all. I think he's a fantastic fighter. I just don't think he's Terrence Crawford, and I don't think he'd beat Jerron Ennis. But he beat most of the other welterweights in the world. I just don't think he beat those guys. Who is Boots fighting? I heard he's got a date. The last I heard was that apparently they were looking at Mario Barrios, but I don't know. I don't. When it comes to Boots, I don't really believe anything with his career as far as opponents and who he's fighting until he actually, I see the fight post. When I see the fight poster and I see the venue and I see that it's locked in, that's when I, really get excited about Boots. But until then, I keep it chill. What are your thoughts on Junta Nakatani versus Santiago? Good fight, excited to see Nakatani at 118, and Santiago's not the greatest champion in the division, but he's a solid fighter. He's gonna come forward. It'll be a good all action fight, and we'll get a chance to see how Junta Nakatani's punch resistance is at 118. Because look, one thing about Junto is someone that is very, very hittable. Boots Barrios is a good fight. It's a solid fight. It's not like I'm not gonna be over the moon about Boots versus Barrios, but it's a solid fight. I personally would like to see Boots fight Giovanni Santillan, but Giovanni Santillan, he's with Top Rank, and I'm not sure that they want to go ahead and do that fight, But I would like to see that fight. Maybe I'm alone, but I think after the performance that Santillan has had and with the record he has, he's like, what is he, like 32-0, 31-0? I think that's a good all-action fight. You got one super athletic southpaw and Boots versus a very, very game, very, very tough, very, very durable, very, very active southpaw and Giovanni Santillan. He went there with Alexis Rocha. He hit him with like 6 left hooks in a row. It was beautiful, Thank you, Alex. I appreciate you. Thank you for the birthday wish. Make sure y'all smash that like button. We here, the Untouchable True School Sports, the birthday stream. The official birthday stream. Santillan lost to Eric Bonet. Come on. What's his name? Barrios lost to Akhmedov. Come on. We could all do that. We could all sit there and say, oh, this guy lost to that guy. What's that? Who's that guy that Boots fought that he looked like trash against early in his career? There was this one guy that Boots fought that he didn't look that good against, that everybody likes to use, like the real Boots hater, because everyone likes to say that I'm a Jerron Ennis hater, but the real Boots Ennis haters, there's this one fighter that he fought early in his career where everyone says he looked like trash. What was that guy's name? Where was it? Who was the guy that he fought? He fought a dude early in his career. It wasn't Karen. It wasn't Karen Chukajan. Karen Chukajan is a new fight. There's an old fight where they say Boots didn't look good, but I can't remember who it was right now. I'm looking through his box record. I'm trying to figure out where that fight is, who it was. Maybe it was. I mean, he got a knockout. Maybe it was one of these fights where he had a knockout. Because there was this one fight where I guess he got clipped or something, and it may have been George Sosa or something like that. I can't remember who it was, but I've seen someone on Facebook when they're hitting on Boots say it was George Sosa, this 15-10 journeyman clipped him, but then Boots stopped his ass in 2 rounds. So I'm trying to remember who the hell it was. I think it was George. I'm gonna say it was George Sosa back in 2017, but Boots knocked him out in the 2nd round. So you can't really nitpick like that. That's hating. What happened in the match with DeMarco and Santillan? Yeah, Antonio gave him some issues. One thing about Santillan is, from what I've learned, because after the Rocha fight, I went back and I kind of, put myself on game of his career. I feel like he probably would have had better performances against the competition he's fought if he was active. He had some contractual issues. He wasn't able to box as much as he wanted to. But I know from hearing things through the Top Rank grapevine that they think highly of him. Like, they think highly of Giovanni Santillan. Like, real highly of Giovanni Santillan. So I hope they actually go ahead and, keep the man active, because I like the way he fights. I think if the Rocha fight's any indicator, I think the better the competition is, the better he's going to fight, Because again, like against the Bonets of the world, he didn't fight so well. But when he fought Rocha, who was looked at to be better than the guys he's been fighting, he performed very well. A lot of you guys are mentioning Caleb Plant versus Demetrius Andrew. That's a good fight. They have history. They've sparred. Um, that's one of the best things I've ever. That's probably one of the best fights Andre could have at this point in his career. It's a winnable fight against a guy he's familiar with, who's been champion. Why not? What are your thoughts on Inoue saying Fulton doesn't like getting punched in the face because he's American? A lot of black people are crying because of this comment and is accusing him of being racist. I'm not gonna cry racism, but what I will say is, I don't know. Look, Inoue, I'm a big fan of him. But America's a big country. Like, we got 50 states, we got hundreds and hundreds of millions of people. The style of American he's fought in Fulton, that's not representative of the entire country. So my thing is, you got some different types of Americans at 126 you can go fight. You got some other black Americans at 126 you can go fight. My thing is, if Inoue is gonna say these things and say that, oh, American fighters don't fight with the same spirit as the Japanese fighters, whatever, okay, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm not gonna get mad at you. But you best be prepared to stand on what you said. So when you go to 26, all the Americans, the Bruce Carringtons, the Angelo Leos, the Ruben Villas, anybody who's at the top, who has a belt, you better be fighting them, because you are not allowed to say those things and just, go fight, not fight Americans anymore. So I'm looking forward to seeing him at 126 when he comes up. Let's see. Let's see if he's so big and bad against the Americans at 126. Jimmy Lewis says, "Happy birthday! I hope you continue to follow your dreams." Thank you, Jimmy. I appreciate it. Yes, I'm definitely doing that. Right now, like, look, I'm here. It's my birthday. I'm talking to you guys about boxing. Tomorrow I'm going to one of the gyms for sparring with one of my best friends in the world, who's a really good fighter. Man, I'm telling y'all don't know about him yet, and I know maybe on BoxRec, you can't really tell that he's a good fighter, because his BoxRec ain't the best. But Eric Lanza Jr. can fight. You guys are going to hear that name bubbling here in the next couple of months, and we're looking for all the best work in Vegas. So any of the top fighters out there in Vegas that want some smoke, Eric's gonna be going gym to gym. Bones Adams, Top Rank, whatever gym, Salah's gym, every gym in Vegas you can think of, we'll be at it. You'll be seeing me with Eric. So looking forward to sharpening him up and getting him ready for the next things in his career, because he's a good fighter at 140, can box, can punch. Got some great things about him. Just needs to develop and see more looks, and that's what we're here in Vegas. That's one of the reasons why I'm here in Vegas, to obviously help my channel, but also to help one of my good friends in the sport advance his career, and get to a better place in his life and his boxing journey. I mean, the Americans have to earn their shot at Inoue. None of them did at 118. Well, I'm not talking about 118. My thing is, look, you can't listen. I don't know how they do it in Japan. I love the respect to the Japanese. We'll bow and we'll respect, and we will show massive love to our Japanese brothers. But one thing about us Americans, you can't run your mouth and say certain things and think it's gonna be okay. That we're just gonna be okay. It's cool. You're Inoue. No, fuck that. You gotta come to the States, or not to the States. He don't gotta come to the States because he's a big money making attraction. But what I'm saying is, you can't make a comment and say American fighters are this, and generalize a whole country with a million different cultures in it. You ain't even fought every type of American fighter yet, and then all of a sudden say, you know what? No, I'm not fighting Americans no more. No, so I'm not gonna hold it against him at 122, because I feel like he's being all the there's not really much for them here there at 122. So I'm gonna let him do his thing for the year at 122. Fight your Merjons, fight your Naries, fight your Sam Goodmans if you want. Knock yourself out. Do whatever you want to do this year. But when the time, I'm telling y'all right now, so it's not a surprise when I start talking a certain way next year. When the time comes for Inoue to go up to featherweight, I better just see him fight Americans. He better be fighting all the Americans, because you can't talk like that. You can't. And he said all those things, right? He said, Inoue contradicted himself, because he said, Americans this and Americans that, but then he said Terrence Crawford is the #1 pound fighter above himself. So how could Americans not fight that hard, right? How could Americans not fight that hard with the spirit of the Japanese, but you're saying an American, a black American too, is the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. Make that make sense. Make it make sense. Um, that's it. Look, it's no hate. It's no shade to Inoue. I gotta keep it real. I gotta keep it 100. You know, you said all these things about Americans, right? You say, oh, Americans don't fight hard. Americans this, that, and the third. You came to America for sparring. You improved your skill set because of Americans. Get the fuck out of here. Who was that one New York fighter you did an interview with? He's the kid who worked with Roy Jones. You're talking about James Crunch Time Wilkins. Yeah, shout out to my guy James Crunch Time Wilkins. Yeah, he hasn't fought since late 2021. He fought on the Lomachenko, Richard Comey undercard, and he beat Juan Tapia. Juan Tapia was a tough fighter from Texas. Shakur Stevenson fought him as a prospect, and James Wilkins wound up actually dropping Juan Tapia with a jab. So Wilkins actually did what Shakur couldn't do, dropped him, and wound up beating what's his name? And wound up beating Juan Tapia. But he hasn't fought since then. I know he's went ahead and he's still training, he's staying active, he's always posting motivational things on Instagram, but he hasn't had any fights in some years now. So hopefully James Wilkins can get active again and become a player in the 130 division. He said Inoue is probably frustrated by black Americans for saying he's never fought and sparred with a black fighter before. Yeah, he probably is. He probably is. You know, and he's not used to that. Like, I know in Japan, like, speaking from somebody who's been to Japan, I've literally stepped foot in this gym. So I know how it is. He's someone that is treated like royalty in Japan. Like, he's like the president in Japan. That being said, you know, he's not used to people like not saying he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. You know, and we're not as easily impressed here in the States. Not to say that Inoue is not no good, a fantastic fighter, because he is. He's one of the best fighters in the world. He's a future Hall of Famer. But I'm just telling you what it is. Now there was a comment I missed. Where is it? And by the way, shout out to Lance Meyer. He says, "Happy birthday, BT. I think Inoue will be happy to fight with most Americans at 126." Thank you, Lance. Thank you for the birthday wish. And Inoue, I don't think he's gonna duck no smoke. I'm just saying, like, if he gonna talk like that, then okay, let's see. Let's test that theory out. David says, "Is this Bernard Torres kid that Bruce Carrington fighting any good?" I seen Bernard Torres fight one time. I saw him fight. He's a southpaw. I believe he's from Norway. And I saw him fight one of the local fighters from South Florida. This Dominican fighter named Frenchy Fortunato, who I like a lot. I like Frenchy. I'm a Frenchy Fortunato fan. He's probably one of my favorite Dominican fighters because, you know, I used to see him a lot in the gyms when he was an early prospect, and that was a fight that could have went either way. Fortunato wound up grinding out a victory against Bernard Torres on Showbox. He's a solid fighter. He'll be a live body, but I think if Shushu is what I think he is, he should be dealing with Bernard Torres pretty soundly. He'll have a big speed advantage. I think he'll have a punching power advantage. The only thing where I could see it maybe being a bit of a problem for him is maybe like in the stamina department, because Torres is pretty durable when he does like have good stamina, but that's about it. The Americans you mentioned had to beat Mexicans at 126 to earn a shot at them first. Nieves and Fulton were the two Americans he fought were afraid to get hit. Yeah, well, the Americans that I mentioned, one of them, listen, I don't know which, I'm telling y'all, one of those Americans that I mentioned at 126, one of them is going to be, by the time Inoue gets to 126, one of those guys will be a world champion. I don't care if it's Angelo, I don't care if it's Bruce Carrington. One of them will have a belt around their waist by the time Inoue gets to 126. So when that time comes, go ahead. Let's keep testing it out. Slide Encounter says, thank you, Slide Encounter. Good to see you. Appreciate you. I saw Ergashev is back in training. Is he going to fight anyone? I don't know. I haven't heard anything about Ergashev, but good to see him back. I mean, hopefully he's fully healthy and fully recovered and can. I would like to see Ergashev fight one of these guys that ducked him in the IDF Eliminator, like Richard Hitchens or Andy Hiroka or Paro at some point, because them guys didn't want no smoke with Ergashev. Yeah, Subramatias exposed Ergashev, but them dudes ain't Subramatias. Ergushchev is will still beat the brakes off a lot of fighters at 140 in the top 15. U.S. fighters are the best, but many black fighters use the negative style in their boxing fights. It's killing. I agree with that. I actually agree with that. I think like your Richard Hitchens and your Shakur Stevensons and these kind of guys, they they all grew up watching Floyd Money Mayweather, but they all forgot to watch his fights against Corrales and when he was Pretty Boy Floyd. So a lot of them are fighting this overly cautious style, and listen, it pisses me off because a lot of these guys are more talented than they're showing. Why do you favor Angelo in a fight with Inoue? Who said I favored Angelo in a fight with Inoue? You're saying it's because JK said it's because it's my friend in real life. That's not true because I'm gonna tell y'all this, and you know what? I'm getting sick of some of y'all. I'm getting sick of some of y'all who like to disrespect me and speak on my name and say that I'm just bigging up Angelo because he's my friend. Because really and truthfully, it's fucking bullshit. Because let's be real, at 126, like I'm cool with Bruce Carrington. You don't hear me saying, "Oh, I think Bruce Carrington's gonna beat Inoue." You know, I like Bruce and I wish him well, and I probably root for him to beat Inoue because I like him. But I don't sit here and say that about Bruce Carrington. Dominique Francis. Dominique Francis is just. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start naming the names, and I don't mean no. I don't mean no disrespect to anybody, but I have to really speak my piece and get my shit off because it happens every time. Every time I bring up Angelo. Every time you guys every time I even just barely mention Angelo. I don't even say a whole lot about Angelo in a way. I just say it'd be a good fight. I give Angelo a chance to beat him. You guys start saying I'm being biased. You guys start putting down Angelo Leo. You guys start saying Angelo sucks. You guys start saying he's a bum. And you guys will fucking get on the keyboard and you'll sit here and you guys will literally disrespect a guy who was a world champion, who actually took the tough road to becoming a world champion, right? So to get back to my point, Dominique Trap Francis, great friend of mine. Love Dominique Francis. Been covering Dominique Francis since 2019. He's ranked number 7 in the WBA, right? He's from South Florida. So you got an undefeated South Florida fighter who I'm cool with in the rankings. Have you guys ever heard me say, I think Dominique Francis is gonna beat Inoue, or that I think he could beat Inoue? I've never said that. I've never said that about Bruce Carrington. And there's other fighters at 26 I know personally that I'm cool with. I've never said that they're gonna beat Inoue. So don't give me this bullshit about Angelo's your friend and that's why you think he has a chance against Inoue. I think Angelo has a chance against Inoue because I see Angelo in the fucking gym train. I know mentally where he's at in life. I know how good he truly is. I know that I know what I'm looking at, and I know that he is one of the best fighters in the world. And as these fights go on, as he continues to fight, as he continues to develop, you guys will see, and I'll be proven correctly fight by fight. So I don't want to hear none of this bullshit, And you know what? I'm not gonna name no names. I'm not gonna name no names as far as the guys at 26 or 122 from the past. But there's a lot of guys that you guys, the boxing fans, love to dick ride and love to, prop up as these killers that had chances to fight Angelo Leo. And when it came time to fight Angelo Leo, they bitched up and went in another direction because they didn't want that fucking smoke. So we'll leave it at that. God bless everyone. I don't mean to change the subject because I know we're talking mostly about Inoue. That's a good fight. I think Shushu still needs to develop. But the Bernard Torres fight will be good for Shushu. I really and truthfully hope that he looks good in the fight and continues to impress the handlers at Top Rank so that he can get these step up fights against the guys like yeah. No offense to anyone, it's just an observation. It's like you have to pick some extreme. No, why? What? Okay. Since you're so Jasper, right? Jasper said no offense. So you're saying I like to make take extreme positions on things. So since you made that claim, Jasper, why don't you in the comments, I want you to type out okay, my bad, Jasper. Okay, not me, my bad. All right, I'll calm down. Why did Angelo Leo take a year off, by the way? He took a year off. It was actually 2 years off. He had 2 years off of his career because he was locked into a contract with many other promotions that he couldn't get out of. And He had to sit out his contract pretty much. But you want to know what about Angelo Leo? Unlike most fighters, I know fighters that have a 10-month layoff, not even a year, not even 2 years, not even a year, not even 18 months. He had a 2-year layoff. That whole time when he was going through all that stuff with Mayweather Promotions and he couldn't get out that contract, had to sit it out. You know what he was doing? Unlike a lot of your favorite fighters who scratch their ass and eat candy and don't do anything. You know what Angelo was doing? He was sparring the best fighters in the world. He was sharpening that blade to become better. And guess what? Ever since he came back and he's been fighting on Pro Box against the guys like Nicholas Polanco and Mike Plania, okay, again, Polanco and Plania, not the biggest names in the world, not the A++ fighters of the world, but guys that come to win, live bodies. Polanco, 130-pounder, fought punches at 130, never been stopped before. You saw what Angelo dealt with him, stopped his ass. Mike Plania, guy that upset Joshua Greer, guy that went the distance with Rais Salim, who was a top contender. Angelo did him dirty. Did him dirty in 3 rounds. He's a really good fighter. You guys haven't even seen the best of him yet. And I'm not saying that because he's my friend. I'm saying that because I know what I'm talking about. And the featherweight division is a division where I personally know a lot of fighters, and I'm not bigging them up because I know that they're not as good as Angelo. That's the fact. And Johnny, shout out to Johnny, he brought it up well in the comments. I think another thing that's helped Angelo a lot as a fighter, since we're talking about him, is like any fighter in boxing. He had a kid, he had a son. So I'm sure when I have a kid, and God willing, all right, God willing, in the next couple years, if some things go my way and I get the woman I want, God willing, I have a kid soon. I'm sure that's gonna level me up. I mean, I already work hard. I'm sure when I have a kid, I'm gonna work 10 times harder because I want to be able to provide a great life for my kid, and that's what he's doing for his kid. Now, to get back to Alex's original question before I went on this big ass rant, why do I think he has a shot against Inoue? Okay, well, let's break it down. Let's break the shit down. Let's remove all the propaganda and the hype that the media sells us about Inoue, and let's just talk boxing for a second. Inoue is a very athletic boxer puncher with the Japanese style. The Japanese style is a regimented style that where with the feet, the Japanese fighters, they do a lot of bouncing. They call it pendulum stepping, rhythm stepping, okay? Their punch selection of most Japanese fighters normally tends to be a jab and a straight right hand down the middle. Not so much left hooks, not so much uppercuts, but mostly the basic punches of boxing. It's a very basic, regimented style. Inoue's perfected the style because of the fact that he has the fundamentals, but he has the IQ and he has the elite athleticism, that athletic ability and the counterpunching and the body punching, and that's what makes him so great, right? The reason why I think Angelo will have a great chance against him is because you got to look at what troubles Inoue. Where is he the least comfortable? Inoue is a fighter that when you watch him in the past, in his toughest fights, it's when fighters are able to push him back off the back foot. So a fighter that could push him on the back foot would have more success against him. Angelo Leo is a bigger fighter than Inoue physically. He has a work rate. Let's be real. He has a work rate Inoue has not dealt with in the ring. Like when you talk about the opponents he's had, like Marlon Tapales, Stephen Fulton, even like a Donaire at that age. Those guys do not have the work rate of an Angelo Leo. It's just the truth. That's one of the reasons too. And then you look at the angles. A lot of the guys that Inoue fights, and this is not to put them down, he's fought some really good fighters like Fulton and Donaire. You guys know the names. I don't gotta tell you. But these guys, when they move, they're more so like straight line fighters. There's not a whole lot of angles with these fighters. There's not a whole lot of pivots with these fighters. So Inoue doesn't have to really reset. Inoue can sit there, he can touch them, he can get into a rhythm, he can pendulum step, he can shoot that 1-2 down the middle, and he can do what he wants to do and not have to really worry about actually having to, find these guys in the ring. Angelo has really good angles. Angelo can fight out of different guards. He can fight out of the high guard, regular guard, the shoulder roll. He can do these things. He can do all these things, and his jab is improving. He's developing. His best boxing is in front of him, and if you choose not to believe me, if you choose to say that I'm just being biased, I just think that, again, when you look at Inoue too, one of his best punches is a straight right hand, right? One of his best punches is that deadly, lethal straight right hand, which has put many people to sleep. It's hurt many a men. It's crushed many a dreams and ambitions of fighters. But has he fought a fighter who can counter with the straight? Has he fought a fighter that can counter the straight right hand with a counter like, I don't know, a left hook to the body? You know, has he fought a fighter with the kind of youth, speed, work rate, you know, of an Angelo Leo? I think that's gonna wind up being one of his toughest fights at 126. I think Angelo Leo was good enough to beat him. A lot of you guys may say that's crazy because you're gonna judge him off of what you saw against Stephen Fulton and Aaron Alameda, and that's okay. But that guy at 122 doesn't exist anymore. That guy at 122 is a whole different guy than the guy at 126. If you don't believe me, okay, don't believe me. All I would ask you to do before you say I'm wrong or I'm being biased, let's just be honest. Go turn on the tape. Go watch the Angelo that fought Fulton. Go watch the Angelo that fought Alameda. And then go watch the Angelo that fought Mike Plania. And go look at the Angelo that fought Nicholas Polanco in his last 2 fights. And then you know what? While you're at it, in April, I'm not going to say the date, but when he fights again, I'm not going to say the date, but when he fights again, because it's going to be here announced really soon. But when it happens, watch that fight too. Why you'll have 3 fights to judge him off of, and you tell me, is the Angelo Leo 126 and the Angelo Leo 122 the same fighter? Because if you can be objective about it, it's not. And I think it's going to be one of the best fights in boxing. Obviously, I'm going to want him to win. That's my guy. We give respect to Inoue. We know Inoue is a great fighter. We know it's not going to be easy. I'm not downplaying him. I know Inoue is going to be a Hall of Famer, but I believe that there was a guy at 126 that had the style to really beat Inoue. It'd be Angelo Leo. That's just me. Let me see. So Johnny says, Angelo also dropped Nonito in sparring before Inoue did it. Also, when I see Angelo spar to Paulus, he did very good, if not better, than the Inoue did in this fight. And yeah, Johnny's giving y'all even more inside information than me. Donaire was sparring Angelo for that fight. He was sparring Angelo for the damn Donaire fight, the rematch. Before Inoue beat the brakes off of Donaire, Angelo was beating the brakes off Donaire, you know? And that's not me, like, exposing anything that hasn't already been put out there. Donaire said that himself when I interviewed him. So go check it out if you don't believe me. And as far as him sparring to Paulus, look, man, Tapales, good fighter. We respect him. He's a 2-division champion, unified champion. I think Angelo's a class above Tapales. And then he said, most don't know how drained he was. Yeah, look, I was there with him. I was there in person. When Angelo fought Aaron Alameda, I was there. I saw how sunken in his eyes were. The dude could barely freaking talk. His mouth was so dry, he could barely conjure up 3 words together. I seen that shit in person. So, yeah. And David says, wait, Leo dropped Donaire? Yeah, go watch my Nonito Donaire interview I did back in December. I interviewed Donaire here on this channel back in December. And Nonito Donaire admitted himself that Angelo Leo is the only person he's ever sparred with that's ever dropped him with a body shot in his whole boxing career. So, time will tell all. Read my previous comment. Okay, what was the comment? He said, what'd he say? What did you say? Because I can't find it. Did you see the big-ass Chinese fighter getting upset at bridgeweight in Russia and KO'd? Yeah, it was about, I was talking to my boy Hyro yesterday. And I did watch the highlights. I gotta watch it. I gotta watch it some more and do some more research. But man, it's gonna be it was a good fight, you know. Shout out to the Bridgeweight division. The Bridgeweight division is doing putting on some good fights under the radar. I gotta get them more on my radar and start, you know, making videos about them because they're doing their thing. Jasper says, Angelo takes a lot of hits to the head. Inoue may hurt him bad if he does adapt his style. Okay, so before I even respond to that, have you watched any of his have you watched his last 2 fights? If you haven't watched Angelo against Mike Plania or Nicholas Polanco, you don't have an opinion. Because the guy that fought Stephen Fulton and the guy that fought Aaron Alameda that's not the same guy as the guy at 126 who's been knocking these dudes out and been showing a whole different level of boxing because he was sparring these 2 years with guys like Donaire and Shakur Stevenson and Marlon Tapales and Subaru Murata and Tenshin Nasukawa, and he even sparred Shushu Carrington and he even sparred with Ruben Villa, you know. So that's my opinion. If you haven't watched Angelo Leo fight on Pro Box the last 2 fights, then you don't have a proper opinion. That's just my opinion. And David says that Angelo would give him his tough. Yeah, I think he would. I think he would, but Again, it's my opinion. I'm entitled to it. You know, I remember many years ago when people thought Teofimo Lopez wasn't shit and they thought he was gonna be a hype job. And I was telling everyone years ago, hey, this kid Teofimo Lopez is gonna beat Lomachenko, and they said, nah, BT, you being biased for Tio because he's from South Florida. And then what happened? Ruben Villa and Angelo would be a great fight that Angelo would win. That'd be an amazing fight because Ruben Villa, quiet as kept, is one of the best 126 pounders in the division. He already has a win against the IBF champion Venado Lopez. Venado Lopez doesn't want that smoke with Ruben Villa. I know from talking to people in Ruben Villa's team, like my guy, you know, just people on his team that I know, they want that fight, but Venado don't want that fight. You know, but Villa is right there on the door of a title shot. I think he's one of the most technically proficient fighters in the division. He's not a big puncher. You know, he's not a big puncher, but he's one of the best pure boxers in the division. So I think that that'll be a great fight, and the winner of that fight, you know, should be in line for a title shot. You know. What about the possibility of a rematch with Robeisy Ramirez and Rafael Espinoza? It'll be cool to see him run it back. Oh, I mean, I would love to see a rematch. I will always say this till the end of time. Robeisy Ramirez versus Rafael Espinoza is one of the greatest fights I've ever seen live. It was an amazing fight. I was like 10 feet from the ring. I was ringside. It was in South Florida. What heart, what courage from both men, and what balls from Espinoza, who, let's be real, a lot of people didn't know a lot about Espinoza going into that fight. He was an unknown commodity to the boxing world, and what did he do? He rose to the occasion. So he showed that the moment wasn't too big for him, and he showed that he could fight at the world class level, and that he is someone to be real taken real serious. And he says, and Johnny says, and he don't get hit as much as y'all think, man. He's an inside fighter. It's part of his game. Exactly. When you're an inside fighter who's trying to beat these guys up, it happens. And then he said, let's not act like Inoue is the defensively the most. He's not. He's a great fighter. But, you know, he gets, I mean, listen, it's boxing. You're going to get hit. I know Angelo Leo lost phone, but how was the fight? Was it a close back and forth fight? I've never actually seen it before. It was a close fight, like early in the fight. I think like the first 4 or 5 rounds, it was great action. I think Angelo did a great job early in the fight of punching in between the shots of Fulton and actually, you know, doing really well boxing him. He kind of got away from boxing him a little bit, and then believe it or not, Fulton beat him on the inside, which you wouldn't expect. But it was a great fight. I think it was a fight where Fulton won 8 rounds, Angelo won 4 rounds. They threw like a gang of punches. It was a really entertaining fight. Fulton showed that night why he was one of the best fighters in the division. But at the same time, you know, I'm not taking away from Fulton. It was a great win, and that fight is why I still to this day, even after the Inoue loss, that fight, along with some of the guys he beat as a prospect as well, and the Brandon Figueroa fight, and the Danny Ramon fight, that fight is why I will always talk great about Steve Fulton. Now, granted, personally, this is my opinion. I don't think that Angelo Leo he fought is the Angelo Leo that exists now. You know, I want to make it very clear. When it comes to any fighter, not just Angelo, fighters can progress and they can regress. So through fights, through different stages of a fighter's career, they can get better. They can improve. They can sharpen up other facets of their game. And just as they can improve, they can also, you know, not improve. They can get worse. You know, they can, you know, live the life of someone who's not, live the life of undisciplined outside the ring. They could get lazy in training. So there, you know, there's 2 sides to the spectrum. I think personally, if you want to just be honest, I think we've already seen the best of Steve Fulton. I don't think he's gonna get any better than we already seen him. Just being honest. Angelo, I think, will get better. I think Angelo, his best boxing is in front of him. And I think, just being honest, if they were to fight again, I think Angelo beats him this time. And look, Stephen Fulton knows himself. Like, all respect to Cool Boy, but Stephen Fulton knows himself because he said it himself on social media. When he got hit by Angelo Leo, that was one of the hardest punches he ever got hit in his whole career. Because he told Brandon Figueroa, he said, look, when you hit me, I didn't have no headaches. I was good. I went to the club. I was partying. When Angelo hit me, I was in the hospital getting stitched up and I had headaches. So that's Stephen Fulton saying that. David wants to know, how long am I going to be in Vegas? I'm not sure, man. I'm going to be out here at least for the rest of this month with my boy Eric Lanzis Jr. who's getting some sparring, and I'm gonna be here getting content, and just trying to build the channel up even more. So definitely the rest of this month, and then I think I don't know what I'm gonna do after I leave. I might go back home. I really think I'm gonna wind up going to that Odebek versus Raymond Ford fight. I know Angelo's going. I guys think, should I go with Angelo Leo to Raymond Ford versus Odebek? What y'all think? I'll let y'all decide. Um, BT, I gotta be honest. America is not the best in boxing. No country is. Who are the American champions outside of 135 and 154? Maybe Bam. It's bad to see American fans on Twitter. No, trust me. I'm the main person. Out of all the American content creators, I'm the main person to say, look, outside of 130, 135 to 154, we ain't really doing shit, honestly. I'd be the first one to say that. And I'd be arguing with American boxing fans about it. My issue isn't with that. My issue is more so with the fact that Inoue says these things, and then when the time comes at 126, fights on American fighters. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of American content creators and fans who like to put down, other countries. I'm not one of those people. I have a deep affinity for Japanese boxing culture, Japanese boxing, and all the countries in boxing. I feel like every country in boxing has had their say and their contributions to the sport. David wants to know, Navarrete being Ruben Villa is a good win. I just hate the idea of having Navarrete fighting at 135. You think Navarrete will handle that Ukrainian he's fighting? Ruben Villa is a great win. Ruben Villa is a world championship caliber fighter. Ruben Villa is one of the most skilled fighters in the division. Navarrete wins like that actually show why Navarrete is who he is in boxing. As far as him against, I think he's fighting, what was it, guy? Dennis Baranchik. He should deal with him. I've seen him fight. I saw Baranchik fight. I saw him fight Anthony Yiggett. I wasn't too impressed. Most people don't know that Ansel was sick before the fight as well. That's all I'll say. Okay. Tell him, Johnny. Tell him. Figueroa be a hellacious fighter for Leo to have to fight. I might have to give Figueroa a shot in that. Someone mentioned that. I would love that fight. And I've talked to Angelo about that fight before. I know for a fact he would love that fight. They just gotta, put it together. And Brandon Figueroa, like, all respect to him, y'all know I love Brandon Figueroa. I don't like Brandon. Is cool. He's a good little fighter. He's a good fighter. I don't want to say good little. He's a good big fighter. He's big for that weight class. I'm a big fan of Brandon Figueroa because I think he has the best strength and conditioning coach in boxing, the lovely Amaya Figueroa. But I love that fight for Angelo. I love that fight. That's like, there's not too many fights at 126 I actually like more for him than that one. That one's one of the most confident I'm in that he'll win. To be honest. Because Brandon going to come forward. He going to throw a lot of punches. And he going to get hit with some stuff that he not ready for. Yes, go to the Turning Stone, one of the best venues to have. And that's the thing. I've never ever gone to the Turning Stone Casino. I know they had. I know about it because I've seen it many times over the years on TV. Seen a lot of fights I've enjoyed there. And look, this is a fight that Odebek and Ford. It's been talked about a lot here on this channel. I know it's been talked about so much that Raymond Ford himself even had some things to say about it. So I'm not a fan of Brandon Figueroa, but I'm a fan of exactly. I'm there with you, man. I'm more of a I'm more of a fan of Omara than I am Brandon. But Brandon's a good fighter. I saw him fight Stephen Fulton and here in Vegas at the Park MGM, and it was a fun fight. I enjoyed watching him fight. He said, no, bro, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about a certain community who likes to downplay other countries. Me and my friends from India love to watch your channel because you cover Asian boxing. Well, listen, man, shout out to the fine folks in India. That's crazy to me. I never even been to India. I don't really think I know anybody in India. So that's pretty cool to know that True School Sports has love in India. So thank you for the support, man. And yeah, I love Asian boxing because I love boxing. And look, when you love boxing, you gotta love all the boxing, not just the Mexican boxing, not just the American boxing, because that's what people do here on YouTube. They get all tribal. They say, "Oh, I love my people. I love my culture. No, no, no. I love all people. I love all culture. So therefore, I love all boxing. That's how we rocking on True School Sports. Um, Mark Moxile might end up wrecking some shit at 130. I'm like you. I didn't like him at first. Yeah, Mark Moxile, he's gonna be something to deal with at 130. How do you see Hitchens versus Gustavo Lemos? It's a great fight. I gotta watch a little more film, but Hitchens I think he's developed one of the best jabs in the sport, and I think this fight is this fight's gonna be about not just the jab, but how does Hitchens actually work in those other punches off that jab? How does he work in that straight right hand off the jab, the hook? Because we know what Lemos is coming to do. If you've watched Gustavo Lemos fight, if you know anything about him, you know he's coming to punch up on him, and really knock him out if he gets the opportunity. So I think on paper, as far as punching power, as far as aggression, this might be the most dangerous opponent that Richard Hitchens has fought, honestly. But I think Hitchens should outbox him, but we'll see. I respect him for fighting Gustavo Lemos because Lemos is a guy that has been in the rankings for a long time, and he's been in position to fight guys. And these guys don't know who he is, and he's not no big name, and he got no big time backing. So he's fighting a very, very, very high risk, low reward fighter. So I respect him for that. Good fight. Hitchens should outbox him. Yeah, let me see what we're 71 minutes in. I didn't even think like y'all got me fired up on Angelo Leo for a little bit of time, and we're already 71 minutes deep, so we'll go for like 10 more minutes and then I'll wrap it up because I gotta get some rest and get ready to go to the gym tomorrow with my boy for sparring. Yeah, Lemos got kicked out of the 135 rankings because he couldn't make the weight. I'm not sure why he got kicked out of the rankings, but I'm happy he's fighting Richard Hitchens. Mauricio Lara fights this week? Question mark. I think he does. I think I saw it on BoxRec. Hey Johnny, I'm gonna ask you this, Johnny, because I didn't get it. I'll probably call you about it after the live. I'm more than likely gonna be going to LA for the Jojo Diaz fight. Do you want to go? If I wind up going, it's gonna be me. I think me, Eric, one of our friends from South Florida who's coming into town on Wednesday, and then my boy Zach. So, do you want to go? Let me know in the chat, Johnny. The thing I don't like about boxing is fans always bring up race, and it's mainly Black Americans who I always see mention it. As an MMA fan, I barely see race mentioned at all. Yeah, like the unfortunate thing about like just sports in general is a lot of people they live pathetic lives where they don't really have anything going for themselves, so they gotta live vicariously through the fighters, right? So they feel like if Devin Haney or Tank or whoever they want to dick ride is winning, that they won, and that's just it is what it is. They got to downplay everybody else so they can feel good about themselves because really they don't feel good about themselves. For me, what I've learned over the years, I don't really pay too much attention to that. I just do me. I just come here. I talk that boxing. I try to learn as much as I can for the sport to give you guys great content, and that's how it goes. He says, "Hell yeah! How will we make it out there? We're gonna drive. Either Zach or one of our friend from South Florida, our boy Eli. It'll either be Zach or our boy Eli. We're gonna drive there. So you wanna tag along? Feel free to. We're gonna go to LA to support some of the guys from South Florida like Eric Tudor, Sasha Tudor. Them guys. Them South. I gotta always support my South Florida fighters, man. I'm the voice of South Florida boxing. So we're gonna keep giving these guys a voice because." We don't have a voice like that because South Florida gets overlooked in boxing. We got a lot of talent, a lot of fighters that deserve shine with a lot of value to offer in this boxing game. People literally thought Fulton was going to win against Inoue because Inoue hasn't fought a black fighter. Like, that doesn't even matter. I didn't think that. I thought Fulton had a good chance to be competitive in the fight because seeing Fulton's a damn good fighter. But Inoue showed why he's so great. And I think I was like 2 rounds off. I think Inoue got him out there in the 7th round. I picked Fulton to stop him, and then I picked Inoue to stop Fulton. I think it was in the ninth round. So it wasn't like too surprising that like the round he got knocked out, and it was more so just the level of dominance that it was at. Professional boxing infrastructure is not so good in India, so boxers nowadays, I heard, are going to train in other countries. Um, and then he said, and then Arnab says, boxing is big in India, only in the amateur scene. Professional boxing is not good in India. We win medals in the Olympics and other amateur competitions. Um, yeah, I know there's a big Indian market. There's a big Indian market for boxing. Like India is no different than any other country. Like look at some of the countries like Norway, or I don't know, like even some of the countries in the Latin America, like Honduras or Guatemala. They don't have no big boxing infrastructure. Uruguay, they don't got no damn big boxing infrastructure. So those fighters always gotta go train somewhere else to give themselves the best chance to be successful at a boxing career. It'd be nice to see one day like an Indian fighter like really come through and like make some noise on the world level, because I think that would be very big for boxing. India has a huge population, and I'm sure if there was ever a fighter from that country that actually had like legit like championship level skills and could break through, it would be big. It would be huge for boxing. JK13 says, BT, do you sometimes watch UFC, or do you don't have time to watch two men hump each other? No, I don't watch UFC, man. I watch boxing, I watch the hockey, and I watch the baseball, and that's my diet of sports. Errol Spence lost to an Indian before in the amateurs. Did he really? I know Earl lost to. I think he lost to. I know he lost to like a Ukrainian in the amateurs. That I do know. Foul Pole Boxing says, "Do you think boxing is dying?" People thought boxing was dying when Muhammad Ali was fighting. I remember in the '60s. If you go back and you really do your homework, in the '60s, before Muhammad Ali was champion and whatnot, they were saying in the '60s that boxing was dying. So there will always be this bullshit narrative and conversation of if is boxing dying. Boxing is not dying. Boxing will never die, because innately as human beings, human beings all love to see a good fight. When people see a fight on TV, especially a big one like in Las Vegas or somewhere, they 99.9% of people don't do that, and they can't do that, and they'll never try to do that because they don't have the heart to fight on that level. So people are obsessed with the fact that people are doing that. So boxing will always have its place in the world, but it goes through phases. I think boxing in America has become a niche sport due to some of the things in the business side, but boxing will always live. Boxing will always be king. Boxing will always be the fight, the one sport where I don't care if you play baseball, I don't care if you play hockey, I don't care if you play soccer. Everybody deep down at some point in time, they looked at a fighter and thought to themselves deep down, you know what, it'd be cool if I could do that. But you know what, they can't do that because it takes a special type of person with a special type of character to even think about being a fighter, let alone being a fighter. You know, Major Key Boxing, my main man Glenn. What's good, Chen? Good to see you. Hope all is well. Shout out to you. Shout out to Guido. How you doing? Just chilling, man. Chilling on my birthday. My birthday live stream. I'm 29 years young today, so just talking to you guys, keeping this whole 90 days of boxing live series going. If you guys don't know what that is, just for you guys that maybe may not know, back on January 20th, I said that I'm gonna go live every day for 90 days straight. So from January 20th to April 19th, I'm going live every day. And today is day number 23. I haven't folded once since I said that. So also, India did have a medalist in the Olympics in 2012, but he didn't really do good in the pros. Okay, so look, India. If anybody ever breaks through for India, I think it'll be huge. It would be one of the biggest things in boxing if an Indian fighter actually had legit like pound for pound championship skills. MMA fans said boxing is dying when Conor versus Mayweather were about to fight. I'm glad Mayweather made them pussy MMA fans humble. I remember that very, very well. It was annoying to have to hear people say that things like Conor, Floyd Mayweather has never felt punching power like he's gonna feel against Conor McGregor, and I'm like, okay, if you say so. And then Floyd almost killed that dude. How long am I planning on being in LA? I'm not sure yet. It all depends on when I go. I'm going for the Jojo Diaz fight. That'll be on I think the 16th, the Thursday. So I'm gonna anticipate a couple days at least. It'll be a couple days in LA. I'll be there, I gotta go see in LA. I'm trying to go to like the Robert Garcia boxing gym. I'm trying to like I got friends out there I want to go see. I want to go to some gyms, get my boys some sparring. A lot of things to do. What about Taiwan doing good in boxing? That's where Sean Newton is from. Yeah, shout out to Sean Newton. YouTube OG, YouTube boxing community veteran. Um, I don't know if Taiwan has the. I mean, they have a good population. I think anywhere. I think if a fighter from anywhere that's not like a normal country, if it's not like if it's any country outside of the norm, like we know that in boxing, USA, Mexico, Japan, Nicaragua, all these countries, the normal countries you guys hear about, those countries are always gonna have fighters. But when you can get fighters from countries that don't normally have contenders or champions, it's great for the sport because it helps the sport be more global and give people from other countries a reason to watch the sport, which only makes it stronger. So if a fighter can come from Taiwan and show real skills as a top fighter, then obviously that's great. Thank you, Fapo. Thank you, Major Key. I just found out that Bruce Carrington's next opponent in February is Filipino Bernard La Maquina Torres, who's a yeah, I know Bernard Torres. I watched him fight once. He fought. I talked about it earlier in the live. He fought Frenchie Fortunato, who's a Dominican fighter from South Florida, and he lost a close fight to him. He's a good fighter. He's durable. He's durable. He's strong, and he's ready to give him a good fight. BT, let's be real. Race and genetics matter. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. I don't think race matters at all because when I was out here in Vegas in 2021 and all the punk ass people in boxing gyms were telling me, oh, BT, Jose Ramirez is going to beat Josh Taylor because he's Mexican and Josh Taylor's a white boy from Scotland. I said, you're full of shit. Josh Taylor's going to beat the dog shit out of Jose Ramirez. And that's exactly what happened. Now, genetics, I could agree with that. Genetics from like your family, the genetics you inherit from your family, those things can play a role. But ultimately, like, look, I think I'm of the mindset that it really is about the character of the fighter and what, I'm a firm believer in everything in life, like not just boxing, but just anything with YouTube, with anything, with my friendships, like my friendships that I have, my own friends, it could be relationships, it could be anything. My relationship with God, it could be we're going to the gym. I'm a firm believer that in life, you get what you put in. So if you really put every last fiber of your being into something, I genuinely believe there's no way you can't get a good return on what you're doing. So I don't think of things that way. I feel like once you start thinking that way, like, oh well, like for example, like if I was a fighter, right? If I was a professional fighter, and I said, well, I'm not a black guy from Philadelphia, so I'm not going to be a champion. Then all of a sudden, those are self-limiting beliefs, and I don't like self-limiting beliefs. I don't like self-limiting beliefs because I know too many people that I grew up with in life who have these self-limiting beliefs, and they're fucking losers. And I don't want to. I'm not a loser. I'm a winner. I think like a winner. I act like a winner. I am a winner. So I don't think that way. But it's all. Listen, it's all up to you. If you want to be, you'll get what you ultimately put in. Hong Kong had a good fighter named Rex Tizo. I believe he was supposed to fight Inoue at 115, but he had to retire because of a fucked up eye. That would have been huge. Having a fighter from Hong Kong against Inoue would have been insane. But some things are meant to be. Like I know Zhao Shiming. Zhao Shiming was a big fighter from China that Top Rank tried to promote. I know Angelo Leo sparred Zhao Shiming like 10 years ago at Wildcard Gym. He was telling me about it recently. Listen, some fighters, some things are meant to be, some things are not. I do believe God has a plan for all of us. Like you do what you can. You control what you in life. You control what you can control. You give your best efforts. You try your best. You give every last fiber of your being to whatever it is you're trying to achieve, and then God takes care of the rest. He's the best of planners. He knows what's best for all of us. So That's just what it is. But no, around here, when it comes to me, I'm not with no anything that even sounds like a self-limiting belief. I throw it away immediately. What happened to Fang Long Meng? How come he never fights no more? The last time I saw Fang Long Meng fight, he fought on Pro Box. He fought Jean Pascal on Pro Box. I'm gonna say it was like 2022, and Jean Pascal beat the brakes off of him, beat the shit out of him. BT Taiwan had a title contender back in the name back then named Rocky Lin, but he fights out of Japan. He lost to Benito Lopez for the belt. Rocky Lin, I'll check him out, man. I gotta start studying Ricardo Lopez's career a lot more because he's a fighter that I'm very fascinated by because he's like he had a crazy undefeated record. I know he knocked out Hideki Ohashi. I know he's a prototypical like gold standard precision pressure boxer puncher. You know, I want to know more about him, so I'm sure I'll learn more about Rocky Lin here shortly. Didn't Meng get robbed against Pascal? No, he didn't. I thought Pascal beat him clearly. I think Pascal might have stopped his ass. He might have just beat him. Period. Johnny says, I only believe in one race, and that's the human race. He said Teefman Lopez. Well, Johnny, that may have been the first time you heard that quote from somebody. The first time I heard that quote in my life was from my dad when I was a kid. So, I'm gonna say that's a Pop's quote. Is Zhu Can a former WBA 126 champion? He had like a regular title. So technically he was. Good fighter. You know, Zhu Can, I haven't seen him in a while either. He fought on Pro Box as well, around that same time as Jean Pascal. He fought a Mexican named Brandon Benitez. He lost to him, and I ain't really seen her much from him since. Pascal is a beast. He said Johnny Combat needs to make vids again. He must be hemped up. Yeah, I want to say God bless and shout out to my man Johnny Boy Boxing. I know he's doing a little bid right now. He's on a field trip, so to speak, and I want to send him my prayers and everything. What's your thoughts on the 224 weight class, the Bridgerweight division? I mean, I haven't really thought about it too much, to be honest. It's a good weight class. It has a lot of, it's had some good fights that have flown under the radar, and I want to start covering it more. Thank you, Major Key. He said, I just shared on my page, man. Thank you. I want to make a YouTube channel when you get some time. Johnny, I've had time. I've had time. I've got time now. I've had time now, it's you, man. I know when we be hanging out, I know like you're gonna want to watch Tigre. You're gonna want to watch. You're gonna want to go out and do stuff. So when you see me next time and I'm at your house and I tell you, hey, Johnny, let's make the YouTube channel. Don't be like, oh, I want to watch soccer. Oh, I want to do this. No. When I tell you I got time and I see you, we'll do it when I see you. But I got you, champ. I got you with the YouTube channel. All right, guys. We got 3 more minutes, and then I'm gonna get up on out of here because we got a long week ahead of us. I always wanted to ask this to someone knowledgeable about boxing. How would Floyd have done against the Four Kings, Sugar Ray Leonard, Tommy Hearns, Roberto Duran, and Marvin Hagler? It's a great question. I think, I think one fight that'd be horrible for Floyd out of all those 4 would definitely be Hearns. I think the Hearns fight would be horrible for Floyd because Hearns was the kind of fighter that Floyd never fought. Hearns was a long, rangy, one-punch boxer puncher with elite speed. Maybe Floyd could have hurt him. Maybe Floyd could have countered him and, maybe found a way to win. But I think that out of all those fights, I think that won't be the worst one for him. The most winnable of those, and I don't even like saying this because the other guy's so great, but I think Duran would be the most winnable just because of the size. Hagler, I think he'd have a chance to, even though I like Marvin, and Marvin's my favorite of the bunch. I can't say that because Marvin was a 60-pounder. Marvin never fought at 47. Marvin never fought at 54. He was a 160-pounder. So in order for Floyd to beat Marvin, he'd have to move up to 160, and he's not doing that, right? So the only guys of those 4 he could really fight because based on the weight class he fought on would be Duran, Leonard, and Hearns. I don't think he beats Hearns. I actually think he could. I would give him a shot, a good shot to beat Leonard. I know that's unpopular because people would say Leonard for the speed and everything and whatnot, but I think Floyd's timing, his reflexes would have given Leonard some fits. Duran, I gave him a chance against only because of the fact that, Floyd he was always good about, boxing smaller guys. BT, wishing you a happy 29 laps around the sun. Bro, thank you, QC. I appreciate it. I always love seeing you in the chat, man. And I'm hoping, God willing, before I turn 30, and that's officially a year from now, God willing, before I turn 30, I can go to your neck of the woods in Australia and see what's going on over there. Johnny said, I don't know how Floyd would have done, but if you bet on Floyd 50 times, you would have won 50 times. That's true. That can't be refuted. That can't be. Floyd, oh man, Floyd against Salvador Sanchez. You're really trying to get me going right now. I love Salvador Sanchez. It's hard for me to pick anybody against Salvador Sanchez, but let's see. Salvador was a featherweight. Floyd was a featherweight, so that's what they would fight. Shit, it's hard. That's tough. I gotta think about that one. I don't know about that one. That one's tough, but I like that fight. But guys, look, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up. I just want to come here, keep the streak going, keep the tradition going. Today was day number 23. Tomorrow will be day 24. I'm not sure what the hell we're gonna do tomorrow. We'll figure it out. But make sure you guys keep supporting the channel. Keep spreading the good news about True School Sports, the home of boxing, and definitely. Hold on. He says, "Why are you avoiding the question? What question? What question am I avoiding? I don't avoid no questions. Did you watch Zhao Schming back then?" I did watch Zhao Schming. That's why I'm talking about him. Yeah, of course I watched Zhao Schming. He sucked. He was a fun fighter to watch, but he was, in the pros, he wasn't all that. But he was a great amateur. And there's been many guys like that. How do you love someone when you weren't even born? Because how we have, we have YouTube, right? You can go back and you watch these guys, see how they were. But look, I'm getting up off here. If I miss any of your questions, say it for the next live and I'll answer it. I need to get some rest. You guys take care. God bless. And like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.